WERW, Real College Radio.
This is Titus Andronicus.
This is Marilyn Manson. You're listening to WERW.
Yo, what's up? This is Steve Aoki.
Hey, this is Jamie from downtown.
Hey, this is DJ Earworm.
Hey, this is Dominique Pruitt.
Hey, what's up? This is Zach from Cayucas. You're listening to WERW, Real College Radio.
How's it going? This is Mark and the boys from Blink-182, and right now you are listening to WERW 1570 AM, Real College Radio, for the mass destruction of society.
Welcome to WERW's 6th episode of the Artist Spotlight series. This week, we're joined by up-and-coming Santa Cruz DJ and producer, Christian Bauhofer. Better known to his fans as his alter ego, Minnesota, Bauhofer is known for his frantic energy and pounding bass as part of his live sets. While he's only 23 years old, he's already shared the stage with acts such as Big Gigantic and Paper Diamond, while other acts like Bass Nectar have already incorporated his signature track, Push It, into their sets. Currently in the middle of headlining his own tour, the Eternal Frequencies Tour, Bauhofer still manages to produce new music in between sets. His goal is simple: to release diverse productions that can win over any crowd. On the eve of the release of his newest EP, Equinox, WERW's Artist Spotlight series presents Santa Cruz DJ and producer, Minnesota.
WERW, Real College Radio.
What's up? This is Minnesota, and you are listening to WERW Radio.
We are here with Christian, or better known as Minnesota. He is also a California native. You are from
I'm living in Santa Cruz right now.
Santa Cruz. Oh, awesome.
Yes.
How do you like it there?
I love it. I've been there past, I think, 5 or 6 years, and I'm definitely going to be living in the Bay Area for a while.
So we're here with Minnesota, who's actually on tour right now. He's on his way to Nashville for his tour tonight, for his tour date tonight. And how's your tour going?
It's good. I think we're a little over 2 weeks in. It's definitely been pretty intense, but we have a really good crew with us, and almost all the dates have been cracking off, so it's been a really fun time.
How did you get started with DJing and producing?
Let's see. I just started getting into electronic music. First electronic group I heard was Justice, and that kind of made me want to kind of get into the scene. So I started DJing, and then after that started producing, and kind of started with house parties and stuff. And then a few friends started throwing shows, and I would play those shows and just kind of built up from there. And that was kind of where my start came from.
And how long have you been DJing and producing?
I think it's been 4 years now. I started producing probably a month or so after that I started DJing, so that's all around the same time. But I think we're around 4 years in. It's kind of hard to keep track, though.
Yeah. The name Minnesota, your DJ name Minnesota, where did that come from? How did you get that name?
I grew up in Minnesota, actually. So I was born in California, lived until I was 5, moved out to Minnesota and lived there from when I was 6 to 18 years old. So that's where I lived most of my life. When I moved out to Cali, the people I met, the friends I made, started to call me that nickname, Minnesota. And when I started DJing and producing, I couldn't think of anything cool, so I used my nickname, and that kind of just stuck. So that is the origin of that name.
Gotcha. I mean, it works well. At least there's a backstory to it.
Yeah, no, I get a little bit of crap from it because I don't live in Minnesota anymore. But I think it actually be kind of weird if I was living in Minnesota and my DJ name was Minnesota. But yeah, just comes from a nickname.
So, for those unfamiliar with your style, how would you describe your style of DJing and producing?
Yeah, producing, I usually say melodic bass music, which is definitely a broad term for it, but I think it works because I try not to make one certain style. Like, I'll make some hip-hop stuff. Right now I'm really focusing on the melodic, big sounding dubstep and higher tempo stuff. And DJ-wise, I feel like I just do a good mix of different styles of dubstep and different genres. Yeah, I guess that's how I would explain it.
How do you prepare for your set? Do you have like a specific process, anything like that? Is that kind of
what I have is I have a bunch of different blocks of different songs that will work well together, and I can kind of interchange those blocks depending on the set. Because you'll go to some cities and they'll like it heavier, and you'll go to other cities and they like the more like sexy glitch hop stuff. And my set on tour will usually stay pretty similar because I don't have the time to go in and try to switch up stuff just because I'm focusing my time on other stuff like producing music on the road. But yeah, it really depends on the region I'm playing on. But I've got a pretty good grasp on what each region likes, so I know what to play to.
So talking about like, regions, you've played shows on the West Coast, you've played shows on the East Coast. Do you find that there's like a difference in the type of crowd? Do you see, more kids like amped up on one coast, or are they like a certain type of style on one, or they like more dubstep and hip hop on one? Do you find that there's a difference?
I wouldn't say it's by coast. I'd more say it's just by different, kind of like states. Like, let's see. Colorado's always fun to play because they like everything, and so is Chicago. But I'm kind of blanking on it right now. But it's more by each region rather than coast. Each coast, the West Coast and the East Coast, both rage just as hard. The West Coast, depending on the shows and stuff, can be a little bit more of a heady vibe, more like hippie-ish and stuff, which is, I'm definitely down with that. East Coast is a lot of like party kids. I guess a different kind of person, but still, everyone goes just as hard, just in a different way, I think.
And so, when I was looking at your Facebook page, actually, you've got a store in set, like here, and I just saw that you opened up the design for your next EP for the cover of it. How did you like come up with that idea? Was that something that you kind of wanted to do before, like kind of involve your fans in the design of it?
Yeah. So basically, me and my manager have been talking a lot about doing some sort of design competition, whether it was a new logo or something. And it's always hard for me to find like a graphic designer that gets like exactly what I want, because you'll go out and you'll find someone and they don't really know your music, but they'll listen to the EP and they'll do something based off of that. So I felt like trying it with fans would be a good idea, because all these people that are potentially graphic artists already know all my music and they like it because they're on the fan page. So that'd be a cool way to have multiple choices for the design on the EP, and just a cool way to get people that follow my music involved more. So yeah, that's kind of where that idea came from.
And how are the designs that you've gotten for it so far? Any favorites that stand out?
There's about 3 or 4 that I really, really like. And I definitely know I'm going to have a solid one. I'm hoping that we have some more coming. I think there's like 4 days left in the competition. But I'm really excited that I've gotten so many entries for it, and people are excited about the idea. So I'm stoked to see what we actually end up choosing. And it's going to be cool because we're going to use that same designer for this next EP. Is going to be a part 1 of a series of 4 EPs. And we're going to use the same designer for all 4, so they look kind of similar. And I think it's going to be really cool.
Oh, that's interesting. 4 EPs.
Yeah, so I kind of had the idea, just with the timing of this first release, to do 4 EPs and do 1 with each season. So this one is called Equinox. It's hopefully, if we can get everything put together in time, it'll be released on the spring Equinox, which is March 20th, but we might do it later than that. And then one will come out for the summertime, fall time, and then winter. And And then at the end of that, we're going to put all the EPs together and make it into a LP. I'll kind of go into more detail. Kind of the reasoning behind that is it's pretty hard to write a full album just kind of being a DJ and producer, because you're playing so many shows all year round and trying to get a good block of time off to do that. So by doing this, I'll be able to create 3 to 4 songs for each EP and then put them all together and have an LP. So I think it will be, hopefully it all comes together well and actually works out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really interesting, because I've never heard, and all the people I've interviewed have never heard anybody describe a process like that, like 4 EPs into one LP.
Yeah, it was something that actually my girlfriend kind of came up with, and I thought it was a really awesome idea, so we kind of worked on the idea, and hopefully it works out.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it will. Like, you guys have a plan set. It's all good. So, when you have your DJ set, what's your setup like? Do you use the CDJs? Do you use controllers?
Yeah. So I software-wise, I'm using Tractor, and I'm using a Pioneer DJM 900 that uses my sound card, my mixer, and a partial controller, so I have some stuff mapped to the DJM 900 that controls stuff inside of Tractor, and then I also have a Tractor X1, which is used for effects and cue points. And it's a simple setup, but it gets the job done, and I think I definitely have the ability to expand it so I can do more stuff. Yeah.
So, you've toured with Big Gigantic and Paper Diamond, and you've gotten the support of Bass Nectar, and Panty Raid has also played your stuff. And now you're headlining your own tour, which, of course, obviously you're on right now, the Eternal Frequencies Tour. With that, how did you guys come up with that name? Or how did you come up with that name for your tour, the Eternal Frequencies Tour?
It was basically just me and Prototype, as we had kind of planned this tour a little bit ahead of time, and we were kind of going back and forth between names, and we just kind of had some jokingly names. And I actually had a really hard time coming up with something, and so I was in the car driving up to Tahoe with a few friends for Snow Globe Music Festival, and we just kind of started saying words and stuff, and I kind of wrote a few of them down, and that came out of it, Eternal Frequencies. And it's a pretty, heady name, but I think it's also has kind of cool, imagery, I guess. It's just I guess not imagery, just a cool meaning behind it. It's supposed to kind of represent, I want to make my music timeless, and just so that, sorry, I got off track. One of the guys yelling at me. Shoot, I just lost what I was saying. It's just basically, it's just something that I came up with.
And you guys are touring for the next 2 months, pretty much, here. And you've got some pretty big festivals. You just announced Sonic Bloom in Colorado. And you're going to be in Chicago for the Spring Awakening Music Festival. Any other announcements? Any other bigger festivals that you're going to play? Anything we should be looking out for?
Let's see. I'm at Wakarusa, which is in Arkansas, or I'm not sure where that is, but I've been wanting to play that one for a while. And there's a few other festivals that we haven't announced yet because the lineup hasn't came out, so I guess just people can stay tuned to hear what we end up doing. And other than that, they can just expect my EP to come out sometime in the next month or so, and look out for that. And
so going off of that, well, what's next for you? Besides the EP, besides the festivals and the rest of touring, are we going to see any collaborations or anything like that with anybody?
Yeah. On the tour, we've been all, me and a girls, all kind of exchanging knowledge and working on stuff. So actually right now, we'll be in Prototype. We're working on the tune that is doing really, really good. So hopefully some collaborations with these guys while we're on tour. And other than that, it's hard to tell. Basically, my main focus this year is to make my music as good as it possibly can, and just learn as much as I can, and keep producing better and better stuff. So, yeah, that's where I'm just trying to get.
who would you like to tour with in the future? A certain like DJ or producer that you look up to, and you would just die if you had the opportunity to tour with them or make a track with them?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to like open up for Basic on one of those tours, but that's definitely a long reach. Other than that, I think the lineup that we have for this Equinox Frequencies tour is awesome. Prototype and D. Carl are both amazing young producers. I think it's a good, diverse lineup that we have. But once we start planning whatever our fall tour is, I'll hopefully have some new people that I haven't really thought about it too much. Yeah, so I guess it's hard to tell.
Awesome. And actually, I just thought about this. Should have asked earlier. But how do you feel about Deadmau5? Talk about the EDM scene and how everything's starting to sound the same. Everything's becoming more homogenous. What do you think about that? Do you think that with the amount of people in EDM right now, the amount of DJs and producers, do you feel like it is that he's right? Like it is getting to the point where everything's kind of sounding the same? Because I mean, talking to you, you are really, really great in the fact that you want to really create music that's different. That's gonna be, you're focusing on it, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think that people don't think that way?
No, I actually read that same article, and I thought it was, I thought he had a really good point, and that I think as it gets bigger and bigger, more and more people will produce it, and a lot of people will try to produce stuff that sounds like what is big and just kind of copycat that. But even with that, as there are more and more producers out there, people will be expanding the genre-based music even more and creating new and different stuff. So I'm not too worried. Even if stuff does get more mainstream, it's not really gonna. I honestly don't really think it's gonna affect the more underground stuff. And I think there'll always be the people that are stoked to hear new and interesting stuff. So I definitely agree with what he said, but I'm not worried about it.
Well, it was great to get your perspective on that, because I've always been interested to see what, you know, producers who really, really care about their craft and, you know, really take time on their craft, what you know, think of that. The last part is, if you wouldn't mind giving us a station shout out, that would be perfect. So you're gonna say anything to This is Minnesota and you're listening to WERW, anything to that effect. You can throw in Syracuse University in there, or WERW Real College Radio, anything to that effect. And whenever you're ready, we'll do it multiple times, and then we'll pause.
It's WERW?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm probably just going to keep it simple, but can I just go ahead and do it?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Okay. What's up? This is Minnesota, and you're listening. It's going to take me a few tries.
No worries.
WERW.
Yes,
okay.
WERW.
What's up? This is Minnesota, and you're listening to. Alright. It's going to get even worse if I go on. Here we go. What's up? This is Minnesota, and you are listening to WERW Radio. Does that work for you?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. That's awesome.
Cool.
WERW, Real College Radio.
What's up? This